Last episode on sailing Millennial Falcon, we waved goodbye to our beloved boat and began the mammoth journey back to the story.
Fortunately for us, we had arranged a 4-day stopover in the Big Apple as a stopgap to take the edge off a long trip, and despite the blistering cold and persistent snow, we had a great time.
The must-have New York experience.
Almost 2 years ago, we left it all behind for a chance at the sailing adventure of a lifetime.
It has not been smooth sailing since then, but together we are learning and laughing our way through.
Our hope is that if we laugh long enough, we can make our merry way around the world.
And this
is a Millennial Falcon. Alright, so we booked in. We've had a few incidences today where I didn't check things up. So I forgot to book us check luggage. Whoops. Anyway, we just got to the counter here in the hotel and the person's like, no, I can't find a booking. And I, in my head, was like, oh god, Adam's gonna live it, and it isn't his name.
Come on mate, hurry up. It's 6 AM. Let's go. 7 AM.
We're so not used to this Northern Hemisphere stuff.
I'm like got visions of us like walking across the Brooklyn Bridge in the sun. It's gonna be like down the Brooklyn Bridge. Come on, let's just go. Figure it out on the way.
Alright, there might be a change of plan. We just walked outside and it's snowing. I don't quite think we're prepared for this. Oh my god! What is this?
Bizarre. So bizarre.
Alright, what's the plan now?
Like a proper tourist. Come on, the plan remains unchanged.
Oh no!
It's a bit of a change from 20-something degrees in the Caribbean and 70% humidity to I went in to find out what the temperature is.
It's cold.
It's cold. That's enough. It's cold. It's snowing.
It feels like Christmas. It really does.
It doesn't feel like Christmas. Our Christmas is 40 degrees in the shade.
So, pulled out all of our clothing that we had with us and put it on. We have then realised that on our walk to Brooklyn Bridge, we're not actually in Brooklyn, we're in Queens. So we're gonna walk to the nearest bridge in Queens. I think it's because Queens River
Just
Bridge.
keep walking till you hit the water. Everything's
Exactly.
better when we're next to the water.
As it turns out, access to the bridge is nowhere near the water's edge. So we failed at walking. I'm here to get a subway. I don't think this place encourages walking.
It's a very good opportunity to dry out though.
Yeah, it was. Okay, where are we going next? I'm cold. Come on! It's not the sleep anymore. You got snow in your eyebrow.
We've got snow everywhere.
We're not going to be nearly as happy and excited about this when we're like drenched, wet and cold. But for now it's daytime with the lights.
This would be really cool at night, actually.
Yeah.
Might have to make a special
We're in
effort.
Times Square now, obviously, in case you couldn't tell. It's very, very bright. Adam apparently remembers this place from a game he played, not from anything else, from a game
I swear I had a very intense gun battle in Times Square once upon a time, digitally speaking. This is the heaviest snow I've ever seen. It's nuts.
Oh my god.
I'm really kind of glad that it is snowing. This really just like gives it that little air of majesty that I was hoping for. It's magical.
Who are you doing this?
Oh, check that out.
Oh, wow.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store.
So we're not going to go skating, and these are Adam's reasons.
Because somebody is very accident prone, and I just know that she'll go A over T, and then we'll have to spend the rest of the afternoon hobbling around in the freezing cold with somebody that has a wet backside and a few extra
possible broken
bruises
bones.
and or a broken bone. So we'll just take a picture and move on.
Lunchtime. Adam just got ripped off with a hot dog.
I didn't pay the guy.
$9 hot dog.
Hang on. I saw a sign on the side of the road and I was like, let's get a classic New York hot dog. It's $2.
Apparently it's a classic.
Khiara
now.
comes back in a terrible mood with like, this is an okay hot dog. $9. She comes back with one hot dog and like a handful of
Rotten chestnuts.
rotten chestnuts. Suffice to say, Khiara was in quite a foul mood for the remaining half hour.
It was a bit of a
Why didn't you
dinner-
just tell
bit of
the
a
guy?
tourist fail
You're in
there.
New York.
We should have known.
It's like a tradition. You're supposed to debate. You're supposed to yell. Should have told him to stick his hot dog where the sun doesn't shine.
We're in Central Park now. It's absolutely freezing. I feel like it's actually gotten colder throughout the day than it was during the snowing thing. Or perhaps my enthusiasm for this coldness is worn off because there is no snow anymore.
You really are losing your patience with the cold.
I really am.
About every hour she needs to duck in somewhere for a cup of tea or a coffee or something.
Oh my God.
And you can see her stress levels rising progressively over the course of the 2 hours, and then just eventually just like has a stomp of the foot or like a rosy red cheek angry moment or anything. Whatever it'll be, I'll tip her over the edge just like, get me tea. You're British. You're supposed to love this. This is textbook London weather.
I do like it, but I'm not acclimatized right now.
Grew up in London. You're supposed to be like
I
at
did not
home.
grow up in London. Squirrel. Woo! What's next on the list, Dads? What are we stopping at next?
American Museum of Natural History. It's one of those bucket list things you gotta go and see. And I'm a geek and I like that stuff. So.
It's Myrtle the turtle.
I hope that's not Myrtle. Very distant cousin of Myrtle.
Waiting for the T-Rex exhibit.
Who looks better today? Actually, this looked a lot like you earlier today when you were cold and hungry. What are we doing today, Grumpy Gills?
What are we doing today?
Cut. It's a paltry -1 outside. It's going to be freezing, so I've got like 3 t-shirts on and a puffer jacket and a beanie and a scarf and gloves. It's probably still not going to be enough. So we're going to try the hop on, hop off bus because we're hoping that we can cover some ground like indoors. Because it's cold, you're like run in and get a cup of coffee, and then you run in and you're like, oh, let's have lunch, and then you run in and get another cup of tea just to thaw out and dry out. And so you end up spending a fortune just in like shelter tax. Teas and coffee, shelter tax. Those restaurants or in the city in general must have been absolutely killing it. Anyway, it was well worth it because like one of our patrons, Burke, said There's like something oddly magical about New York in the winter because of the snow, and he was dead right. It's so cool. It's really I'm so glad it like that day probably made the whole trip to New York worth it for me, but I don't see a lot of snow.
I agree.
I know we keep banging on about this, and all of our New York viewers are going to be like, harden up, guys, seriously.
Or like people from Sweden, Scandinavia too, they're going to be like, oh, come on.
Actually, there's a lot of Swedes, yeah. So we apologise for being so precious, but this is just not my jam, okay? It was built for tropical climates. It was built for arid and tropical climates. You, on the other hand, do not have any ground to go to.
I really don't. I'm just not used to it.
This is a beautiful English day. I have to stop filming now because my fingers are frozen to the camera. I got in trouble for standing up. I made us sit up the back so that we could get a better view, but the price we pay is it's like an extra 5 degrees colder out here. Yeah, this tour literally might cost you an hour.
Tell people our embarrassing secret.
Oh really? Alright, confession time. We were well and truly beaten by the cold yesterday. We called it quits at about 2 o'clock, but honestly it was in my bones. We were running from coffee shop to coffee shop just trying to stay warm.
It was so bad.
We'd go outside with the best of intentions and we'd be like top floor of the hop on hop off bus. And we just over time we just have to get off, run inside, thaw out for half an hour. So we were just basically doing a New York tour of coffee shops. So today's plan is to do the Brooklyn Bridge Walk and a tour of the bay, some kind of boat shenanigans.
A little cruise around the bay to see Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. The 9/11 Memorial and an observatory thing that apparently has some pretty great panoramic views of Manhattan Island. I love view tops. I think that's my jam. I like to climb tall things and look at the view from the top.
All of the stuff that we're doing. So when we booked the flights to New York, I kind of immediately went on to like Groupon or any of the kind of deal places, and just went and had a look about any of the cheap stuff that I could get in New York. Just pretty much found all the deals, found when all the museum free days are open and stuff like that. So we have like this little itinerary of stuff to do and when all the free stuff's on. So this is, I guess, a way in which we're trying to make an expensive place that could be an expensive place to travel to slightly cheaper, slightly more frugal.
We've also been vlogging our way down the street for like a minute or so. And I remember that 6 weird like sideways glances like, why is this guy talking to something on a stick?
I think we're like, oh, it's in New York, everyone does this, right?
It's in New York, it's totally normal to vlog in New York. It's not. People still give you weird glances. In fact, they're probably more overt about it, like, who's this jerk off?
It's not going to be a sexy bikini short episode. This is going to be gloves,
drab,
scarf and 5 layers of clothing. Is where we were thinking about going later this afternoon. Can't see, it is covered in cloud. So I don't really know what our chances are going to be of us seeing a great view when we're up there, but we will try it.
that was the 9/11 memorial. Pretty powerful sight. We didn't do a lot of filming because I don't know, I find it should be a place of reverence, so I always struggle to film in places like that. I highly encourage you to come and see it for yourself. It's a pretty powerful sight.
We then made our way to New York Harbour, where our cruise to the Statue of Liberty was starting.
We're on our way to, well, we're at Pier 15, just about to board a Hornblower cruise tour.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York.
Put your phone down, you plum, you ruined my shot. I'm trying to capture this moment with Manhattan Island and you, and all you're doing is promoting Apple.
My hair
How was that?
I will admit, it was a tad disappointing.
Really? I thought it was great. I thought it was a really cool way to get the Manhattan Island skyline.
I would have preferred to take the free Staten Island ferry.
Let's do that as well.
I'm glad that it was cheap at least, that's all I'm going to say.
Where does the Staten Island? Oh, Staten Island.
I love how you didn't even have to finish the sentence. Alright, we're going to go up to the Tenement Museum, which is an immigration museum of New York.
What's happened?
Immigration museum was a bust. Adam then dragged us in for some beers. He dragged me physically, of course.
And it solved all of our problems because now we've decided to go see Times Square at night.
Yep.
Which is on the way to the MoMA Museum of Modern Art.
They have a freebie Friday, which is free entrance from 5 till 9 on Fridays.
Of the marketing.
Buy everything! Watch everything!
We used our final day to explore MoMA before settling in for a very early night.
Okay.
It's 2 a.m. in the morning and we've probably woken up both neighbours on both sides. But we are ready to go to the airport. We have a 36-hour flight ahead of us. Sorry, 36-hour journey ahead of us. There is a fair amount of stopover in that. But yeah, it's we're ready to leave New York.
It's a little bit of a mission to get from here to the airport. We're at Newark and we came in to JFK. We came into JFK. It's
Can you tell it's early?
It's really early. Halfway through my first cup. Khiara's got us an Uber from the hotel to Penn Station and then a shuttle bus from Penn Station to Newark. So which is why we have to leave quite a bit earlier. Our actual flight doesn't leave until
6:30 in the morning.
got a little teleprompter behind me. Khiara got like, what's up?
Newark, JFK, 6:30.
6:30. So we're way earlier than usual for a 6:30 flight.
I know they say that this is supposed to be the city that never sleeps, but I kind of thought it was like because there's always someone up. But honestly, like it's the middle. It's 1:30. It's 2 a.m. And I mean, I know it's a Saturday night, but honestly, you wouldn't even know that it's not 8:30 on a weekday, or you know, it's a totally normal time. It hasn't even slowed down, hasn't skipped a beat at all.
So we are flying to Chicago. It's our first leg. Just boarding now.
We just touched down in Chicago. We've got like a 10-hour stopover, and then it's to Auckland.
12-hour flight.
And then Brisbane. This is where we live now.
16-hour flight later, and we're in New Zealand.
One flight to go. 3-hour flight to Brisbane, and then a 2-hour drive to Gold Coast. And then we're done.